We're joined today by Dr. Sonia Scarselli, Vice President of the BHP Xplor program, and Mike Jones, Managing Director of Impact Minerals. Both, thanks for your time.
Good morning, David. Thank you so much for having us this morning. Thank you.
Sonia, firstly to yourself, the BHP Xplor program, a new initiative, what was the genesis? Why has it been developed?
So the BHP Xplor program is an accelerator program, and the intent and the goal of the program is to accelerate and help and support early stage exploration companies, juniors in general, whether they are pre-IPO and IPO, and help them within a very structured 6 months program to accelerate their activity and be ready for the next phase of investment. So why BHP Xplor and why now and why BHP? So the intent for BHP, the goal was to really expand their search space, to create a global program as Xplor that can actually reach out to a much larger pool of idea generation, explorer. They're just interested to bring forward their best opportunities, their best ideas, and be part of the program with us. So for us, there are twofold. We get to know new ideas, a new concept. We get to work early on with these companies, and we get to build a true partnership where we can get to build the relationship with the leadership of each of the team while learning something new that can bring us those new potential opportunities that we have missed through our normal way of doing exploration.
And what was the focus? Where were the areas you really looked at and why?
So the program is global in nature. We call out for application past September and October, and we received over 250 applications, and the footprint was from everywhere, from all the continents, and we get from Africa, South America, North America, Australia, of course, and many others. And we were not distinguishing the global footprint, so we didn't put restriction to jurisdiction, with the exception of sanctioned country. In part, that was a very deliberate choice. We wanted to make sure we were getting not just a quality application, to have it through quality, through choice, but also we were getting exposure to new areas that we haven't had a presence recently, or we've never been present before, to understand the above ground aspect of doing business on those regions. Likewise, from a commodity point of view, of course, copper and nickel are a commodity of choice from a future-facing commodity and critical resources, but we also open up to other resources.
Have you been surprised or pleased by the results to date?
Extremely pleased, a little bit surprised, because this was the first time was run. So there have been programs to collaborate between companies and juniors, but this is the first time that we build an accelerator program on the mineral industry. There are accelerators in other industries, in technology, pharmaceutical, so we stole the concept from them. I won't take credit for that, but we adjusted for the needs that we need on the mineral industry, the mining industry, and we didn't know if this was going to work. Of course, we talked to a lot of people before launching. We had over 1,000 conversations. We realized there was a niche in the market that we could occupy. We're providing investment early on to this company and building the relationship. But of course, until we open up for application, we didn't know how many we were going to get. So that was the surprising part. The pleasing part was the quality of the applicants. So it was a very, I would say, intense selection. We brought in, we went to multiple stages of selection, and ultimately we brought in 15 companies for an interview week with our selection panel, and we choose 7 to be part of the program. Very high quality projects, high quality explorers, which was exactly what we wanted to see. And ultimately, what I'm really excited is because I firmly believe that the company we brought in the program are fantastic. They're the best of the best.
Well, on that note, Mike, a ringing endorsement of what Impact is doing. So looking at the program itself, why did you think it was something that Impact should do, and how pleased are you to now be part of the cohort?
Well, when we first came across the Xplor concept, if you like, it was sort of in the the far reaches of my consciousness. And towards the end, I kept seeing it being advertised around. I thought, hey, let's take a look at this. And we've been working on a concept for copper actually in Broken Hill, where of course BHP started 140 years ago this year. And we'd found it difficult over the years to explain this concept to quite a lot of major companies, and it requires some faith in us to give us money to be able to actually go and explore that concept. There's not a lot of actual evidence, field evidence for it. So we had tried to market this idea to a number of companies, and so we thought, well, let's just give this program a go. And we were fortunate enough to get through and and be selected. So we're one of the Magnificent Seven, as we like to call ourselves, and 3 listed companies, 4 unlisted, and it was a very interesting first day when we all met each other, because whatever the process was, they'd ended up with seven groups who are entirely passionate about exploration. People with bright ideas from numerous areas around the world, and it was like we all sort of got this feeling of there's a sense of comradeship even though we've only just met each other. So whatever the selection process was, it worked very well. So,
and what does support look like?
Well, that was sort of one of the big surprises of the whole program. There was basically this sort of progressive unveiling, this reveal, like a magic trick of all the support that was built into the program, and that really wasn't advertised as such at first. But I can put it simply, it's almost like a mini MBA, if you like, for mineral exploration. And people forget that BHP is a world-class company. It might be viewed as sort of a bit big and slow and lumbering, and we deal with other parts of BHP, and they're nowhere near as nimble as the Xplor program, which is what they set it up to be. And so the level of support was really phenomenal. As I say, we've been on boot camps. They've given us systems for strategy, for working in exploration, dealing with contractors, business chemistry for our people group, and also a lot of education. And they've been true to their word. They're basically at the end of the phone line for any support that we need, across the whole business. So even with my grey hair, I've learned a lot, and it's been a privilege to be part of it.
And without jumping too far ahead, you're obviously part of the Xplor cohort, but does that give you exposure or some further integration as things develop into the wider BHP business?
Yes, look, I think obviously we've got to get to the next stage, and there needs to be development over the 6 months of the program. But regardless of that, they have been very open and offered us all the support. So we've had sit-down meetings with some of their global leaders in ESG, native title, and also their business development, sort of learning really what BHP is thinking. Over the next, we're talking 20 to 30 years. It's become very obvious that BHP is thinking decades down the track in terms of what they're looking for and how they're going to do it. And I think the Xplor program is just a fantastic breakthrough model for the industry as a whole and for juniors in particular.
Sonia, this was the first cohort that came through, but clearly this is something that BHP is committed to. What's the evolution of the Xplor program, and how can other explorers get involved?
So given the success of this year and also how much we are learning and the relationship we are building, we are certainly going forward with the subsequent cohorts. And in September, you will see we are going to call for application again. So September, October, our application portal will be open for all the explorers that are out there that are interested to participate in the program. And I hope I can see a lot of new ideas coming through, new companies coming through. So we will run a second cohort with a similar format from cohort 2023. We will have our cohort 2024. So watch the space and be ready to apply.
A world-class program, making a real difference, future-facing and really looking at the challenges ahead, supporting the explorers in the right way. Exciting times ahead for the program. Look forward to following it with interest. Sonia, Mike, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, David.